Hello, welcome to 1973 GMC Motorhome episode 17. This episode we're going to be dealing with some electrical stuff. There's our power inverter. I was just putting this screw in here, holding this thing together to keep it from sliding out, and also we can screw that into the plate. But we've got some connections to make on the back. We also got here's our new 230 amp hour lithium battery. So I'm going to start getting that set up back there. I always like to save wiring harnesses from cars. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I can use that ground cable there. That big hot I might be able to use at some point for something. So anyway, I'm going to take this apart. I see my cable crimper. I must get over the mountain of GMC to get to my cable crimper. Here's cable crimper. Got a little bit of red, a little bit of black cable. So, but I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got enough of those. All right, well, I need to make a ground cable to ground this to the inverter to the chassis. Okay, I got the ground strap going through the aluminum and the frame. This is a leftover ground strap, and it's only going on to that little baby wing nut. That's all they require for grounding this thing, so we don't need, this will be screwed into the aluminum anyway. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. Okay, I got my cables bolted onto the back of the inverter. There's my new battery sitting in there. Now I need to figure out a way to keep it from sliding around, and I don't want to fill up that air with foam, or I want that circulation around it. I've got few holes drilled in it, plus we have that thing in the side, so it should get some air. So now I got to figure out a way to put some blocks in there to keep it from moving back and forth. All right, I just did the simplest thing and put some 2x3 blocks surrounding this thing so it can't move. And then this little battery hold down is just rubber, and when we put the top on, that thing won't be able to move anywhere. So, all right, so that's in. Okay, so I've got my inverter plugged in, which I've never tried before. Fussed a little when it first came on, but now it's in, it's plugged in. So that's cool. So in practice, when it's in the camper, we're gonna take, whoops, I gotta go find my adapter, excuse me. Okay, so that fan's running, plugged into the camper outlet. And this back here, this is the double cord I was talking about. So now, basically we've got 3,000 watts because it's 1,500 per outlet, is what it says max. What's interesting about this setup is we've got 2 separate circuits on here, just like you would with 220, because assuming it's 2 separate circuits, that's how it would go. And those outlets apparently are all independent, maybe, or maybe they're all wired together, and I don't know. Anyway, we've stabilized out. We're running our fan, and we got 120 electric. Now here's the big question: can we run this thing? Let's see. Let's turn the fan on. On fan mode. Now we're going to try this AC. We got the fan on. This is going to be a little scary. Both the compressor is kicked on. Let's go see what our inverter's doing. it is. It's running the air conditioner. 5,000 watt inverter. Okay. The refrigerator's back installed. We took the doors off. That's the old crap that was on the front panel. We're gonna redo this front panels, but that fits in there super great. And then we're gonna paint the vent grate up there. Put that on there. So major thing. We got room in here again. Here's the old refrigerator panel that was covered. So this slides out, and you can put in, they probably make, you know, any number of panels. I'm going for white. Michelle was toying with the idea of having that in there. That would be a little weird, a brick refrigerator. But anyway, so we're gonna go for a little drive. I need to get some gas, and I also want to try this thing on the highway. I've not yet had it up above 45 miles an hour, so I cleaned it up a little bit. Most of the major construction's over, so I'm gonna put those refrigerator doors back on. You get that countertop off soon. Anyway, but now we're gonna go wait for Michelle to go for a drive. Okay, so after a bunch of work, this is going to be the first voyage that we go over 45 miles an hour. Right now, we're just going to take it easy, go nice and slow in the back roads, driving very nicely. Again, like the first drive, the steering is very tight. So anyway, we're going to slow down a little bit. Somebody wants me to slow down. That's okay. So, alright, so the next scene will be on 32, and we've got some rain for an inaugural drive. Somebody put electric wipers in this, which is nice. Let's turn those on. Look at that. Normally these things had vacuum wipers, so that would suck. So that's the first position. That's like a delay. The second position is like that. Very smooth, isn't it, Michelle? So I keep adding gas. Now I put 10 gallons in there. I went from almost empty to, I don't know, 5/8 full. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how that gauge is working. I had to have at least 25 gallons in it before. So anyway, we'll keep working on that. Well, we've made it to our first shopping center. This is very exciting. Now we're going to go in and go shopping. All right, so we got back. Very nice ride. Now that I had the brakes bled, I'm going back to the newer master cylinder that I had. I'm going to do that because I feel like their brakes are sticking a little bit. If I hit the master cylinder, they kind of unstick. But here's a good pre-trip thing we noticed. So this is wet, and what this appears to be, as you can see, it's green. That's antifreeze. So what that is from the water heater. That's why that was not hooked up, and they hooked up something else or whatever. But so we're going to bypass water heater antifreeze hoses, which are under here. So we'll just basically, I'll probably go up to where they're coming from and make a loop, cap them off. And we also got our solar panels, so this will be exciting. Still so much to do, but so much is done. So anyway, let's look at these and see how this fits on the roof. I got two of them. So these are these CIGS thin film flexible solar panels. They just bend. I mean, this is the 200 watt. I got two of these. I mean, that's just perfect. And you can walk on them, and it's just, it fits great. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that sucker on there. I'm gonna put the other one on, and I'll connect it, bring some wires down, and screw with that for today. That's gonna be awesome. I'm going to run these wires down through the outside edge of that, and I've made some holes in the cap. Then I'll come right into where I want it to go. Okay, I'm trying to keep all electric stuff in the electric cabinet. I'm going to put my new inverter or converter there. Here's my charge controller for solar. This is going to battery. This is coming from panels. So now I'll wire battery next, and then we'll do panels. Okay, that's hooked up. This is my Bluetooth antenna. This shows 100% battery charged, 19 Celsius, or 19 degrees, that's 19 Celsius. E00 means 0 error codes, and 13.4 volts is my voltage. So that's good. And when the sun was not very coming out this morning, we're overcast. Kind of looks like that. And so no real direct sunlight, and I'm still getting 84 watts. So that's pretty good of solar charging. Okay, we've got been raining and raining. I taped over here. I think what's happening is the water's coming down from this gutter, and it's just getting under even this tape that I put on there. There's barely anything inside. That floor is stained, but there's just a teeny bit of water right there in the corner. So something's still getting in, but it's gotta be, that's where it's gotta be coming from. Okay, so quick sidetrack here. I'm gonna hook up my propane this morning, and I want to test the stove. And I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna take the counter off. Got a new bottle of propane. I had this hose made up, but I was thinking, you know, this is probably gonna be too long. So while I was there, I also took the older hose and cut it down to where I thought it should be, and just put a right angle on it. And it looks like I'll probably end up using this one. So let me put this in that and then hook it up. Okay, so there's the stove working. It's pretty easy to turn the gas on. I don't smell any gas when it was off, so we're going to go with that. Now, right now, I'm not sure, this little pilot light is not lit, but I'm going to turn this to oven off off and pilot's off. And of course, we will always shut the outside gas off when not in use, but at least we know this works. That's all burners working with, again, just being manually lit. I'll have to examine the pilot light situation more, but, you know, all seems to be working good there, so that's that. Now for the fun part, Mr. Furnace. Okay, we got no power to the furnace. So also, I'm seeing this gray wire here, which has been added in there, I believe, and it was coming into the bottom of that before I put the this back on here. It was our mystery wire back in there. So maybe that guy had it hooked up to something to do with the floor heater that was here, who knows. Maybe he was trying to thermostat control it. Anyway, so this whole thing will slide out of here and I'll figure out what's going on with that wiring. I think we're going to find more shenanigans in there. Guess this little hole was cut in here to disconnect the gas line so you can slide out the furnace. So that's going to be put off for later. We're going to jack this thing up. We're going to do exhaust manifolds today. Alright, so we're moving on to other things. I'm getting a leak on the other side of this wall, right about here somewhere. This piece of trim was kind of half hanging off the top, and there's all kinds of water and mud in there, so I've just blown it out with some air. And I'm going to put this back on, and then I'll caulk that probably all along the top of that line there. Nice neat bead. Exhaust manifold gasket. Step 1, jack up camper, remove front wheel for right side. Okay, now I got my inner wheel well out, and boy, you can really get to that easily, and you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts. So now we got to get those off, and I'm going to apply heat to all of them to do that. So a lot of these bolts were loose, most of them except for that top one. And you can see that all that shit was leaking. And that's, now we're going to put the other gasket in. Yeah. So, yep, so here's what was on there, and here's the Remflex gasket that I'm putting on there. That is the shit. So let's put that on there and... So we're not leaking now. I'm going to heat this up and then re-torque it. Okay, we're going to replace the radiator hose, so we took the opportunity to remove the line that went to the back, leaky thing, and I've now looped it and just screwed it up there so it's out of the way. Back here, there's nothing happening now, and I've just up there, it's just tied back together. Now, okay, so also since we're in here, we tightened the bottom bolt up on the fuel pump where there's a little bit of oil coming out, and I replaced the lower radiator hose, and I did the upper radiator hose. So that's done. So now we're going to do some pressure washing on this gloppy ass mess, so that if there are leaks in the future, we can get a better idea of where they're coming from. Then I'm going to replace that fitting on the air tank, and then we're going to button this side up and go to the other side. And before we pressure wash, these tires just got here. These are new, a couple brand new with Firestones. The tires that are on there look good, but I don't know how old they are. I've seen a couple little cracks in some of them, so the front ones are going to be brand new because those are the ones I'd least likely to want to blow out. I wouldn't run the other ones if I thought they were really bad, but just want to have brand new ones in the front. So anyway, back to pressure washing. We've determined that this air compressor is poopy. Also, our tank over there is full of debris, so I guess I'm going to go back to the junkyard where the other one is. There were several tanks in there, a couple air tanks. I'm going to get a better air tank out of there and probably order a new compressor. I mean, this thing's working, but it just doesn't seem like it's really happy building up pressure. So anyway, that'll be in the future, but we've determined that. Our wheel well cover is back in this side, so that side's all done. Now we're gonna go get some lunch. All right, so now I'm doing the driver's side. I didn't have to use any heat on any of these. These are 3/8 by maybe 1.5 inch bolts. And when you take this inner wheel well out of here, this is one of the easiest exhaust manifold gaskets I've ever done. So nobody should have any excuse for having a leaky exhaust manifold on one of these things. It's a simple job. And if you get these, I don't know if they still make these Remflex gaskets, but anyway, if you do that, it's an easy job. Totally quiet, no leak there, no leak there. That's awesome. So anyway, that's what you want. Look at how this one, you know, these are the Felpro gaskets, and they're kind of garbage compared to these. So anyway, if you can find those, get those and put them on. I think your problems will be over. Okay, another rainy day. I did a bunch of sealing yesterday on the trim and above the trim, and we are dry as a bone in here. So one area where water comes in is along that trim. It gets under the rubber and it gets under the trim and it goes through the screw holes. We're just super bone dry back here, which is great because now we can start to put that back on there today. And I'm going to work on this today. This is a giant pain in the butt. This here hits the bathroom door. I believe it's supposed to sit on top of this lip here, but over here it's kind of screwed into something, so I need to basically push that out, which I'll do with some wood, and so I can have it sit on top of that. Anyway, I'm going to fix that. The other thing is so all the leaks are great. Now that's still a little damp, and why is that? The reason is that this door has a bunch of leaks on it. So I watched the Jim Bounds video about door leaks and discovered that, in fact, that is very common, and why it leaks. Let's open this. The door seal here doesn't meet with that surface, and blah, blah, blah. So I ordered some 3/8 neoprene to go on here. This is the original door seal. But I remember digging around, there's a few goodies left with this coach. There's a replacement door seal, so I'll put that on there, and I ordered the CRL sealant for that. And that should be the last of the leaks. So now I'm going to tackle this. Okay, so we need to be sitting on this lip here, and what was over here like that, but we only can come out this far. You only come out where it's not painted. That's what you had to screw onto, and it wasn't far enough. So we are going to use this. That will get us an additional 1/2 inch out, which should then have us hit that lip. Okay, I've got my 8 cabinet screws holding this piece of wood onto here. That's not going anywhere, and everybody who's curious, it's like 3/4 by 1.5 inches. So now, between here and this lip, on top of here, that'll be good. But I'm going to see if I can get this water running real quick and just make sure I got no leaks up here before I put all this back together. So I know this looks like a mess, but this pump was mounted up here, and I wasn't getting any water, and it's because it's not priming, because it's higher than the water that I have in the tank now. I don't want to fill the tank all the way up, but I'm going to get all this goofy ass foam out of here and remount this so it's lower. It's going to mount to the floor basically, or certainly lower than it was, and get it primed. Okay, now it's nice and flat. You can see the pink water that has antifreeze in it that we will, of course, remove, but let's see if we got some flow now. Okay, so we're back up here. Now I can recaulk this. We are on top of that lip, so the door opens. Yay, this is still cracked there, unfortunately, but there's really, other than shaving the top off that, maybe, guess I could have gone that extra step, but for now, we're gonna deal with that. And maybe I'll just take off this little thing here. But anyway, before the door was like, you couldn't even open it. Now you can open it. That's great. This side, we still had to put these in at a slight angle to catch that, but that's all back up there, so we'll recaulk that. Anyway, it's better. That solution worked. It was very easy. And this thing, which is now primed, kind of works, but I still don't have water. So here, let's turn the water pump on. Well, we got nothing now. Oh, there's water. But, oh, I guess it's trying to fill this toilet too. Close this. Then we get a more steady stream of water out of here. But, so that's progress. But I still have nothing to the... When I put my thumb on that, it builds up pressure and stops pumping. So somewhere, maybe we have a tremendous amount of air that's being compressed. But when I go over to here, whoop, I'm hearing bubbling. Maybe we're getting closer. Where's bubbling coming from? The drain? That made a little noise. What's weird is, oh, hey, that's more than we got before. So I don't know what's going on here. All right, look at that. All right, well, something's starting to happen. So I guess we just got air, and I'm going to add more water to the tank because I think we're maybe sucking some air in there. Anyway, we're getting there. And now for a hearty lunch of spaghetti and meatballs, so I may keep going. Thank you, Michelle. And so, now as you can see, as typically happens, you start with one thing and you get into a bunch of other stuff. So what I'm going to do is, this is the water line that goes back to the sink. I don't like this kind of thing. This here, you can see is a T. That's for draining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some 3/8 water line, and I'm going to run it back through here. And I'll tie it to that T right there. In fact, that's probably some kind of flare fitting. I'll take that off tonight and see what I need and run that brand new water lines. I will then have a single drain line. Anyway, this is where I'm going to stop. We've made good progress. We got our exhaust gaskets in. We stopped all of our leaks except for this door. We talked about that. Michelle's still painting away in there. We are going to get some nice new sway bar bushings, put those in there. We changed our upper and lower radiator hoses. Anyway, it's been very, very lots of progress. So anyway, we also are going to take this crappy countertop off that's rotted and replace that with like a butcher block or something better than that. But I'll take that off and use that as a pattern. And you know, again, if that's off, that's the opportunity to go back as far as we can with some new water lines. So that's what'll be next episode will be about. Well, we fix that too. Until then, we will see you next time.